Hello, how do you do? AKA GK Fralin. Call me Glenda. Look what I found. I found some fun time. Hello. Give me your money. Now, see the headband? Remember that? Remember we had fun with that? Well, I had fun with it. You hopefully got some laughs out of it. But it's too stretched out to do much with now, except more weird things. So instead, I decided, well, I'll put it on my hat. Because my hat's fun too. So we're having a hat day. Ears sticking out and everything. Which way do I wear it? This way? Yeah. This way. How about this? There we go. It's rakish. I'm a woman. I don't want to be rakish. How about just a little cockeyed? Anyway. Hey, Patrick, you showed up again. Yes, there's a Glenda, and we do get confused. Because I pronounce my name is Glenda, but I get that twang in there and get lazy with the E and get Glenda half the time. My name is Glenda. So it's kind of a squeaky doorknob. Oh, heavens. I had a big supper. Minister came and brought my brother-in-law with him. So we had communion. And I chatted all. And of course, I love to give my brother-in-law trouble because he likes to give trouble. Anyway, he is something else. And he loves the corny joke and the pun the most, I think. But he can be very serious, too. My sister was getting some rest because she's working night shift now. And I don't know, it's those shift jobs. You know what? It don't matter how many degrees you've got. If you are a shift worker or if you've worked shifts or dealt with shifts, it can get hairy. Ask a doctor. I mean, every doctor has been through med school, been through internships, and they know what it's like to have the fighting between shifts. Well, and even otherwise, they deal with it when they come in, and it's like, I'm sure that, I don't know for sure, but I mean, I'm sure they come in and say something about something not being done or something, and well, first shift didn't do it, or well, that we'll have second shift do that. I'm sure they all deal with it, and the guys up in the office at the factories deal with it. It's internal politics and all that kind of stuff. And it's, the tug of war of who's going to get to the bottom of the heap. Let's tug down, get to the bottom of the heap. No, it's all that stuff of trying to get to the top of the heap. I'm one who, I don't get as bad as I used to, but I used to have a lot of anxiety. I always wanted to belong and be part of the crowd, and do, but if I didn't fit in, and I had a target anyway, so, all they had to do is make a little bit of fun of me, and I would run, crawl in a corner, and just hide. Either that, or I would come on too strong and be determined that they were going to accept me whether they liked it or not. I did not do myself favors. I'm not. Yeah, there was those times when I was just fine. Most of the times that's when I was out in the, on the farm, out on my horse, out on the tractor, in the house, just doing this or that. I don't know. I was always babysitting or doing something, but I've always been a high energy, low energy person. And then I hit 40 and find out I'm bipolar. No wonder. Now we know why. Anyway, but I had grown up a lot, and my parents tried to curb my emotions and my energy not the high end, not that I wasn't, I mean, I could, well, yeah, the high energy load, they tried to get all that, but they didn't, people really didn't know back in those days. I scrunched my mouth trying to get a laugh out of you while I'm goofing off, but it's not that funny. Yeah, because people suffer from anxiety and panic disorders. It's not funny for them. And there's been just a few times in my life, I can say I've had the full-blown panic attack where I just got so overwhelmed. I just crawled inside myself. And I can't stay there for, forever, but, it's usually because there's somebody around there to kind of help pull me out, but it's an awful feeling. And I know there's some out there, and when you're dealing with, issues, like, well, there could be strong family feelings when you're dealing with, dynamics in a family changing. I think we talked about that. And that kind of stuff, it causes anxiety. And I think a lot of times it's the anxiety that can a lot of times get people frustrated, and then it kind of barrel rolls, and that's when you start fighting. Others will want to be the caretaker or the peacemaker. Yeah, so everybody's different. It doesn't mean they're bad. They're just different. And people react to frustration and anxiety differently. While some may just crawl off and say, okay, let them handle it. I'm done. I'm not having anything to do with this. Others are going to get in there and they're going to scrap and they're going to say, hey, do it my way. Because they honestly they honestly know they're right. Whether they are or not, they honestly do know they're right. It takes maybe a 5-minute break for them to come to terms with the fact that these other people might have something. Sometimes you just have to, do not flash that at me right now. My computer just flashed at me trying to read it. Restart required. Will restart your device outside of active hours. Select this message to change active hours and I ain't going to restart it now. Okay. It did that to me last night. I don't know why. Something must have got set for this time. So I need to go in. But anyway, there are symptoms of anxiety, and there are things that people might not even realize they're having an anxiety attack. Hyperventilating, now one thing I will do is I will start yelling at people. I don't mean to yell. I don't even sometimes realize that I'm yelling at them. It's the energy that is being fueled by those nerves and that anxiety. And I'm not yelling at them. I'm yelling about a problem, and they're the one I'm talking to. And later it just makes me feel horrible. And everyone's different. Some people just cry. And I've had those times too. I mean, people can be mixed bags. We're not all just robots and have one particular thing that we do. Some people are that even keel and that calming voice. Thank goodness for them. But you got to realize those people do have their moments. They just have them privately. Because they don't like to, they like that role of being the quiet one, it might naturally be that way, don't get me wrong. It might be a natural role for them. But it has to be rewarding for them to keep doing it. And so, but that doesn't mean, and it's rewarding for the people around them a lot of the time. Now, I've been mad at people who won't get upset when I'm upset. But it's like, why aren't you mad at that? But it's not that they're, it's just that I'm in one of my adrenaline is running high. Or I can get anxieties from being in a very low place, and that is depression. Now, when a family is going through a big, a huge change, it can be moving. It could, from one place to another, it can be a death in the family. It can be getting a diagnosis like cancer, and it takes time to adjust. It takes time, and some things are a little more severe than others. Anyway, this is what I'm talking about. That's all. So just kind of think about how your way of being anxious. And, then you guys are good at just kind of putting something in the comments about, and I don't have to read those out loud, but because you'll talk to each other and stuff too. And anybody who comes by can read those comments. I'm over time, so I'm going to have to cut some of this out. But I thought that was important to discuss because I know I felt real anxious about some things that were going on. And I thought, this is minor compared to some of the things that other people are going through, like Robin, yes, I know you, but thank goodness you didn't have cancer not in that node or that salivary gland. But Sophia, forgive me, please. Those are hard. They're hard things to take. And it's hard for a whole family to go through. So, don't discount anything and don't discount anybody. Realize there's going to be upsets. And maybe allow someone to take that break, or allow yourself to take that break if you need it. Anyway, I love you. I care about you. And please, I will leave some links in the more box. Please subscribe if you haven't, and give me a like. If you don't like me, I'll cry. No, I'm sorry. I don't know. And hasta mañana.